You're sitting in your room, reading a book when suddenly your window is flooded with a bright light. Your eyes squint from the glare, and out of curiosity, you stand up and rush to the window. This would be your biggest mistake. As you reach the window, a shockwave shatters it, sending glass shards into your face, eyes, and body. You collapse in pain, blinded, and rapidly losing blood. That was a grave mistake. So, let's rewind. You're sitting in your room, reading a book when suddenly, your window is flooded with a bright light. Your eyes squint, but you suspect this intense light could be from an explosion, so you don't rush to the window. You know that light from an explosion travels at the speed of light, whereas the shock wave moves much slower at the speed of sound. If this is indeed the feared explosion, the shock wave will reach you within seconds, shattering your windows. So, you immediately move behind a solid wall away from the window, lie face down, and cover your eyes and ears. Then, indeed, the windows shatter, and everything in your room flies around. You feel the walls crack, but thankfully, your building doesn't collapse. Your worst fear has come true. A few kilometers away in the city center, a 10-megaton thermonuclear bomb has exploded. This is equivalent to 667 Hiroshima atomic bombs detonating at once. Your actions in the coming seconds and minutes will determine whether you survive. Now it's time to take cover. After the bomb's explosion and the initial shockwave, panic and fear will engulf your city. You might hear cries, moans, and screams from outside. Hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions of people, animals, and other living beings in your city have already vanished into vapor. Thousands, perhaps tens of thousands of buildings have been leveled. Many more people are injured, and countless buildings are damaged. But you have no time to think about these things. You must save your grief for later. If you're still breathing, you've survived the heat, light, pressure, and flames of a nuclear blast. However, you must now contend with two more effects: radiation and nuclear fallout. To protect against nuclear fallout, you might have seconds, or if you're lucky and the wind isn't blowing towards you, perhaps minutes. If you dare to glance outside, you'll see a massive mushroom cloud rising into the sky. This cloud forms because the explosion's extreme heat causes the surrounding air to heat up rapidly. As the heated air rises, it creates a vacuum below, which is filled by cooler air from around, which in turn heats up and rises, creating a tremendous upward airflow. During this process, it carries both its own flames and dust and ash from the ground into the atmosphere. When these gases meet the colder upper layers of the atmosphere, they cool rapidly, dispersing and bending downward, forming the cap of the mushroom cloud. As this broken air is drawn back towards the vacuum in the explosion column, the mushroom head becomes rounder. Clearly, all this creates a chilling, fascinating sight. But don't be mesmerized by its majesty. Stay alert. As we'll see later, animal species don't just react with fight or flight in the face of terror and fear. There's a third response: freezing. It will be hard to resist this, but you must not freeze. This mushroom cloud will rise to about 30 kilometers in the next few seconds, with a cap diameter of 77 kilometers and a thickness of 10 kilometers. As discussed in our previous video on atomic bombs, the amount and direction of radiation spread depend on the height of the explosion, weather conditions at the time, and the quantity and purity of the fuel used in the bomb. If your building hasn't collapsed, you're probably far enough from the epicenter, meaning the radioactive particles released at the time of the explosion either didn't reach you or, if they did, you received a dose well below 100 rems. Good news, you're likely not to die immediately. Bad news, you should watch for symptoms. In the following hours, you might experience nausea, vomiting, dizziness, fever, fatigue, and hair loss, indicative of acute radiation syndrome. Your survival chances will depend on the severity of these symptoms. The risk of death isn't gone, but there's little you can do right now. If you've prepared for such an event, and you have potassium iodide tablets or salt in your emergency kit, you can start taking them as directed. The clean iodine will bind to the thyroid cells, reducing the chance of radioactive iodine from the nuclear reaction causing radiation poisoning. However, these tablets won't protect against all radiation effects. You'll need to drink lots of water, so if the water supply is still functional, stay close to a water source. Unfortunately, depending on your distance from the blast, you might have absorbed a dose of radiation that increases your cancer risk by hundreds of times, and your children might be born with health issues. But none of these are concerns for now. If you're indoors, you must start isolation immediately. Do not attempt to go outside. Just being in a building has protected you from about 50% of the blast's effects. Wherever you are, try to seal off air entry points with whatever materials you can find. For example, if your desk is made of wood, break it down to use the planks to cover broken windows. Use quilts to fill any gaps between the planks. Ensure you block ventilation openings, door bottoms, and fireplaces. Remember, there's also a fire risk in buildings due to both the pressure wave and the fireball from the blast potentially igniting materials. Make sure there's a working fire extinguisher nearby for both these reasons and normal fire hazards. Know that you won't be able to go outside for at least 24, probably 48 hours. Thus, it's wise to gather food and drink in a safe place. During this 1 to 2 day period, please do not attempt to go outside. Contrary to common belief, radiation's deadliest effects don't linger for years. Within the first hour after the explosion, 50% of the radioactive fallout will decay. I mentioned 24 hours because by then, 80% of the fallout's effects will have dissipated. If you have enough water and food and no help has arrived, you might choose to wait for at least 2 weeks, by which time 99% of the radiation will have passed. But remember, radiation doesn't work like a bullet. It accumulates in the body. Therefore, the radiation you receive over time is more significant than any single exposure. The longer you can safely stay indoors, the better. Also, remember, due to the dynamics of nuclear warfare, the likelihood of just one bomb being dropped is very low. Unfortunately, in a nuclear attack, the all-or-nothing logic means many more bombs could be dropped. What if you're outside and survive the blast? It's not much different. However, for those outside, there's the risk of witnessing the explosion. If you saw the bomb falling or witnessed the explosion, you'll experience temporary blindness because the sky has just become another sun. If it's daytime and you're far enough, this blindness should fade within minutes. But if it's night and you're close, you might not see anything for 30 to 40 minutes, which severely limits your survival chances. Therefore, as absurd as it sounds, if you see something like a bright ball falling from the sky, it might be best to curb your curiosity, especially in times like these when we're closer to nuclear war than ever. Nevertheless, if you're outside, you must do one of two things: either flee from the blast area as quickly as possible or immediately find shelter indoors. A quick way to decide is after the explosion and the mushroom cloud forms, extend your arm, close one eye, and try to cover the mushroom cloud with your thumb. If your thumb can block it entirely, you're far enough away, and perhaps you should seek help by walking, running, or driving. Needless to say, you should move in the opposite direction of the cloud. If you have a car, use it, but remember the roads might be chaotic, and you might get stuck in traffic. If this happens, abandon your car immediately and seek indoor shelter. Never try to shelter in your car, its thin metal won't protect you. Remember these numbers. To shield from 99% of the radiation, you need at least 12.5 centimeters of steel, 40 centimeters of brick, or 60 centimeters of soil. If your thumb can't cover the mushroom cloud, you're too close and have likely already received a high dose of radiation. If you notice dust and ash falling, cover your mouth and nose with a thick cloth and rush indoors. Once inside a safe place, carefully remove all your clothes. Don't rush, you don't want to spread the dust around. Bag these clothes and throw them outside. Never keep them inside. If water is available, take a shower immediately. Your clothes and skin are likely covered with radioactive particles, even if you can't see them. Scrub yourself well with soapy water, but avoid cutting your skin. If radioactive particles enter your bloodstream, you're in serious trouble. If water isn't available, but you have some, dampen a cloth and wipe yourself down carefully. Here's an important detail about communication. An atomic bomb will likely disrupt electrical and communication networks, potentially bringing a country to its knees, as we've discussed before. The best way to get information will be battery-powered radios. Also, having items like a whistle in your emergency kit is crucial, as you could be trapped under debris like in an earthquake, or your building might collapse later due to damage. As you can see, even with just one bomb, we're dealing with devastation on the scale of a massive environmental disaster. Destroying an entire nation is no small feat, hence, nuclear bombs, despite their terror, also have an absurd irony of deterring nuclear war. Or, by international agreements, such bombs shouldn't be used at all, but if they were, civilians should be warned beforehand. If there's such a warning, you should either evacuate the city or move to a shelter. We said being in a house reduces effects by up to 50%. A shelter just one floor underground can reduce a nuclear attack's effects by about 90%. The deeper your shelter, the less impact. The more prepared you are for such an attack, the higher your chances of survival. On the screen, you'll see items we recommend for your emergency kit for a nuclear attack. But no matter what you do, the effects of such a bomb would last for decades. Cities hit by the bomb might remain uninhabitable for years, with cleanup taking months. Depending on where the bomb was dropped, there would be widespread economic, psychological, and sociological fallout. Water and food sources would be contaminated, making recovery very slow. Many new births in the area would have health issues and syndromes. Thousands would suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, and tens of thousands of cancer cases would emerge. Dealing with just these would cost billions, and in a collapsed economy, this would be extremely difficult. Remember, we're talking about just one bomb. This should not be an acceptable risk for humanity. Therefore, it's crucial we educate ourselves and others, ensuring these bombs are never used and, ideally, destroyed for good. Once the arrow is shot or one of these bombs is dropped, there's no going back.